The Labour Party, we do not believe in an increasing privatisation of our National Health Service. And that is what's happened under the Tories, is that what you have seen is that hundreds of millions of pounds worth of contracts, ever increasing privatisation within the NHS. That's what's happened. So what we are battling for is to making sure that we stop that. We also, it was great to see the dispatches and other parts of the media actually expose those private meetings between the Conservative government and the big American pharma companies. So while Donald Trump and the likes of them want to be having a sweetheart deal which would break up large chunks of our NHS, that is what we're battling against. And in terms of the wholly owned subsidiary concept, we do not want a two-tier system. So I know that many of the people that are working as cleaners, as porters, as nurses and so on, they are concerned that their terms and conditions should not be affected, as in there shouldn't be a two-tiered system. So yes, I stand in solidarity with them.
The other big issue that is affecting a lot of people, and I receive a lot of messages through this regarding this, is knife crime in Slough. Yeah. It's become a major issue. A lot of people have messaged saying they don't feel safe anymore. Yeah. They haven't heard much from you regarding it.
I'll tell you what they definitely have heard a lot from me, because I've spoken up in Parliament on whether it's knife crime, violent crime, and it's great to see how the Tories are trying to turn this into either blaming the police or the Labour Council or other Labour councils around the country or the Mayor Sadiq Khan and whatever. That is a load of nonsense. It's the reason why we have the highest recorded since records began in terms of violent crime and in terms of knife crime, is because of the huge cuts to policing under the Conservatives. We've had more than £3 billion worth of cuts in the last 9 years of a Conservative-led government. You have had 21,000 fewer police officers, more than 7,000 PCSOs, those police and community support officers that are out there patrolling the streets. There are 7,000 fewer of those. You've got 5,000 fewer specials, so those people that are getting involved within policing. So if you take out tens of thousands of police officers, it doesn't take a genius to work out that violent crime will increase. And at the same time, what's happened, while these people are there tackling crime, so you take out all of those people, youth workers, those community support officers, they have had a £1 billion cut. So what that's meant is that there are 14,000 fewer youth workers. Those people will be making sure that they have activities, that they work with our young people, keeping them on the straight and narrow and building their self-confidence and helping them achieve their full potential. So not only, that is how, by doing those things, they rip the heart out of the communities.
The Conservative Party has recently come out and they've said that they want to get tougher on crime. They support severe punishment for knife crime. What is your position on it? Do you support tougher sentencing on crime?
The Tory sound bites, along with Brexit,
but that's the Tory point of view. What is your position? Do you support tougher sentencing? Do you think there should be mandatory prison sentences for carrying a crime, for stabbing? What is your view on that?
So what we have said is that Labour will be the ones that will be tackling that violent crime, and we will make sure that the people that need to be punished, especially for violent crime, that justice will be delivered. And with the way that we're going to deliver that is by making sure that the police officers are back on the beat, is by making sure that we've got investment in our youth centres, and also what we're going to be doing is to be making sure that the Police Federation, by the way, which has been on record as saying that they do not agree with the government's approach, how they are ripping the heart out of the communities and why they're making people, especially I know a lot of people within the Asian community, they've contacted me also because of the increased number of burglaries within the households and the time it takes for police to respond. You shouldn't be blaming the police for that. It's because if they haven't got as many officers, how can they respond? So that is what we're dealing with. And it's laughable now that having taken tens of thousands of police officers out and having caused that damage, and now Boris Johnson and co are saying, oh, 1 minute, I'll tell you what, we're going to now put more police officers. Well, what the hell were you guys doing for the last 10 years? Why were you taking those, when we were saying this is the wrong approach? it's good how they're now trying to copy and paste Labour policies.
Okay, great. So now just getting towards the end of it, what is your proudest moment in Parliament to date? What do you feel most proud of, or even as an MP?
There have been several things, and I have.
If you were to specify one thing.
I have been involved in a plethora of debates, literally dozens and dozens of debates, by researching, making sure that I made the people of Slough proud from my maiden speech. And that was a glass ceiling, breaking of a glass ceiling moment as well. And thank you for the love and support, and I know that got millions of views and whatever. Thank you so much for all of yourselves. But I think amongst those various speeches, I think if there was one speech that probably resonated more with everybody, I think that would have to be my question to the current Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. In 2019, week in, week out, the likes of me apply, you get put into a draw to ask the Prime Minister a question. And thankfully, in 2019, I didn't have much success, but in September, I finally managed, when they pulled my name out saying, yep, you can ask a question this week. And so I duly held the most powerful person in our country to account, looking him straight in the eyes and calling him to account and saying that just because if I decide to wear a turban, or if somebody else decides to wear a hijab or a burqa, or if somebody else decides to wear a cross or any other article of faith, it doesn't give the likes of him the power and the gall to be describing and stigmatizing a section of women within our community, and by deciding to call them letterboxes and bank robbers. And that is why the likes of me had been asking him very, very politely for over a year, when is he going to apologise? When are you going to apologise? And I think he had what it, Did you
ever get your apology?
So he still to this day hasn't apologised. Neither, by the way, has Boris Johnson or Sajid Javid. They both promised on national television that they will hold an independent inquiry into Islamophobia, given the increasing prevalence of those incidents within the Conservative Party, where many elected Conservative councillors and MPs, where they have been guilty of spreading Islamophobia. To this date, they have not held their independent inquiry. Now that they've got their Prime Minister Kursi, as we call it, they've got their chair, he's got his Chancellor chair. What use is a Muslim Chancellor if he's not going to be standing up for the Muslim community and for those Muslim women?
Is that something
that
you're doing?
The likes of me took them to task, and thank you so much to those people around the world, whether it's Slough Official or whether it's, I know it got hundreds of millions of views and it was aired globally and so on. Thank you so much, and I think that was my proudest. The reason why that was my proudest moment also is when the leader of your party, when Jeremy Corbyn, when he came along, put his hand on my shoulder and said, look, that is the best ever PMQs that I've ever heard, that I've been here for the last 35 odd years, I've been there, and for someone who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, for him to say that, and for his social media team who were with him at the time, said that's the most shared video ever since we've been running the Jeremy Corbyn social media feeds, then I knew that I was part of something special. So I was glad that I could be a voice for those women, and be a voice not only for the people of Slough, but for many other people around the world who would have been thinking that we've got a Trump-like Prime Minister, and why he needs to be removed is because he divides communities rather than unites communities.
Just talking about uniting communities, one question I picked up from the TV debate, and this will be our last question,
right,
was when Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn were asked what they'd give each other as a Christmas present. So we're getting close to Christmas. What would you gift Canwell?
Oh look, I think a lot of good wishes.
Non-political.
Non-political. So I think best of luck. We might give we're going to give something, but no, look, best wishes to everybody. Everybody, look, regardless of politics, everybody has different viewpoints, but I think what is the most beautiful thing, even whether it's Christmas or whether it's generally within our country, is that we are able to have a debate and discussion in a civilized manner. I might agree to disagree on certain things with different people, but I will be holding steadfast to my viewpoint. I'm not one to rant and rave at people. I will take it issue by issue and policy by policy. It's nothing personal against any of my other, those contenders that are looking to be the Member of Parliament for Slough. But I know that given the hard work and given what I've been giving to the people of Slough over the last 2.5 years, including 5 advised surgeries, month in, month out, not having missed a single one, including one on a Sunday morning in Manor Park as well. I know that given that level of work and given that accountability, as I said, without the likes of yourself having to question me, I'll be making sure that that accountability has been there on social media, it's been there on media, local and national, so that nobody can say that they have not had an approachable and accessible Member of Parliament.
Yeah, thank you, Tan. Just on that last point, so where can people follow you or message you or call you? How can they get in contact with you if they wanted to?
Well, look, if you're on Facebook, you can see what I've been doing on your behalf on the Dhesi page. On Twitter, if you want to inquire a bit more, rather than just take me on my word today, you can go onto the @Dhesi page. You can also go on to Instagram and Snapchat, and on YouTube there's a Dhesi MP channel there, and there's also on my website tsdesi.com. On all of those streams you can see what I've been doing on your behalf.
Thank you, Tan. I just want to say a big thank you to Shots by H. You can follow him on Instagram. He's provided the camera and the recording equipment for today.
Well done.
We will also be hopefully having an interview with Canwell, and we have also contacted the Lib Dems, so we'll see how they are. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.
See you soon.